What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Procast, or welcome if you are new. I am your host, The Pacific Limited. I am here with DrakBStew, and
That
today we got an awesome topic for you. We have what would you do if you could time travel? And now I'm gonna let DrakBStew go first since I went first last time. So, Drak,
yeah. So I'm gonna give a little bit of details real quick because my story goes into detail. So some of it you may or may not understand. I'm not gonna be really smart about it because I'm not smart. Remember, this podcast is meant for everybody to be stupid. So I'm stupid. Matt, he's stupid. So mine is not a very long story, but it has to do with space, interplanetary travel, and maybe interstellar travel. And I would like to, before I go into the story, like to say that I want to hear you guys' feedback on what you think about my story, and if you think that tell me what you think would happen if what happens in my story were to actually happen, because I could be completely wrong, and it could come up with a different scenario. But I actually want to, if I could fast travel, I would go into the past on the very day that NASA switched to space travel. I don't know the exact date, but I would do this because I'd go to the day NASA went to the day NASA decided to work on space, rockets and go into space. I'd leave them with a notebook of all the new physics, okay, everything new that we know now that we didn't then, a videotape of everything that we've done now, so as far as like SpaceX missions and the newest NASA missions, so that we could get a couple years head start on some of the stuff we've already done. And that, I think, would be very important. If we could get like an extra 5 years or so on what we already know, we'd be 5 years ahead. So like maybe we would already be on Mars, which is crazy to think. What do you think?
I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
And I have a question. Would you show them the Challenger mission? Would you show them that
I
so they
would.
could maybe like
I, w-
prevent that?
I would show them the Challenger mission. I would show them Apollo 6.
I think it was either Apollo 11 or Apollo 13. I'm not really
11
sure.
makes more sense. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
All I know is that the Challenger and the Apollo did not go as planned. But yes, I would show them that so that they could prevent it, like you said, because it was either the Challenger or the Apollo. One of them, the issue was the heat shield actually fell off. I don't know if you knew that. The heat shield broke, and so they burnt alive, essentially, which is terrible. And if we could prevent that, that'd be good. Maybe not even fully prevent it. Maybe we just tell them to do a couple more tests with that specific shuttle or pod before you actually send them. Because just think, if those people would have made it into space, how revolutionary space travel would be. And I mean, I don't know if everybody that watches Procast knows this. The commercial flight is a thing. It is the thing. People do like so. Virgin Galactic, it's also Virgin Airlines. They do planes and stuff. But Virgin Galactic just made I think it was called the Spaceship something, Spaceship 1 or Spaceship 2. But so Virgin Galactic actually started as that's a new off branch of Virgin Airlines, but they're starting commercial flight. They launch in a plane essentially with the two. It's a double piloted plane that holds on to the actual ship itself that sends you. Now they don't go into space; they go into the edge of space, and where you temporarily feel zero gravity, which is pretty freaking awesome. I don't know about you, but going and experiencing zero gravity in the edge of space would be pretty cool.
I would love to go to space, but it would probably be terrifying.
Well, see, that's the thing. I would also love to go to space, and I'd kill to go to space. And I have plans to. I have these intricate plans to become an astronaut that they may or may not work, but I'd like to think they would. The thing is, it's affordable. Now, it's affordable. Like, it's not crazy affordable. Don't get me wrong. It's pretty expensive, but like to go to technically, I will say, Virgin Galactic doesn't go to space. Technically, it doesn't even go to the edge of space. There's a line that determines whether you're actually in space. I can't remember I think it's Furman's line. something like that in, like, I don't know, technically the edge. Hold on, give me a second. You start talking about something, not your story, but just start talking about something interesting while I look this up.
Oh man, I'm on the spot again.
It happened. Carmen line. Okay, I saved you. I didn't even have to finish looking it up. I was looking up the line at Edge of Space, and then I remember from it. The Carmen line is the official you're in space or Edge of Space. Virgin Galactic doesn't go that high. It goes. Don't quote me, but it goes like either 10 to 30 meters or something under the Carmen line. So I'm stuttering, but so they don't experience space, but what they experience is when the vehicle temporarily stops and is gliding down. That's whenever they're experiencing that zero gravity when they're temporarily floating. But that's still like as close to commercial space flight we've ever came to. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the near 50s, like in the 2050s, commercial flight, maybe it'll only cost $100,000 to go into space, not just, below the edge of space. Now, Blue Origin, that's their Shepard rocket, Jeff Bezos. They go above the Kármán line, and it's a lot quicker too because they're in a rocket. So the difference is that Blue Origin starts on the ground, it goes straight up like a rocket, and then of course they detach the pod. It goes up past the Kármán line, and then up there where they're starting to sit still before they make their drop down is when they're experiencing zero gravity, and then they're actually technically in space at that point. And both of them experience 10 minutes, I think, of zero G, and then they come back down, and then they exit. I think Blue Origin, their Shepard flight takes 20 minutes, and Virgin Galactic takes 2 hours, because it starts as a plane, it goes off of a runway, it goes up, and then it detaches the plane midair, and then it acts kind of like a rocket that's like ascending at some kind of angle, not going straight up to get to the Kármán line. Doesn't get there, but it gets under the Kármán line, and then it stops, and that's when they experience the zero G. As it stops just before it's coming back down is when it's sitting there in that position, which is pretty neat. Like, commercial space travel is becoming the new thing, which is crazy because used to, like, I mean, obviously it wasn't a new thing for me because of when I was born, but like phones used to be crazy. Like, that was the new technology. Now it's commercial flight, which is insane. So yes, if I could go fast travel, I'd go into the past, leave them with a notebook and a videotape of everything space travel related that we've accomplished. So we could go like 5 or 10 years head start, which would be awesome and help us immensely. Like I said, if I did that, maybe we'd already be on Mars. Because with our current physics knowledge, it's either interplanetary or planetary travel is possible. We could colonize so many planets. We could colonize neighboring galaxies. Like, with our current technology and physics knowledge, we could do that. We're just not there yet. We haven't made the right vehicle to get to space, and that's what they're working on. Like, you might think, oh, they're just sending rockets to space for fun. No, they're working on the right ship to get us to Mars. Because once we colonize Mars, the Earth expanding in, a couple billion years, we'll be fine. It'll damage Earth, but once we get to Mars, we'll be, at least it'll be, don't want to say a definite, but our possibilities of humans colonizing and getting into interstellar space travel is a lot more probable if we can get to Mars. Just saying. But once we get to Mars, then we can go to other planets, and that's when planetary travel becomes a new thing. So if we could get that 10 extra years in space travel, man, that'd be a huge jump in human intelligence in general. I mean, I can think of a couple bad things, like AI might actually become a thing. That's very dangerous, of AI becoming sentient. It's not going to happen anytime soon, I don't think, because it was stopped. I don't know if you knew that, they tested the first AI, sentient AI, and it started speaking another language, so they had to shut it off.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, and so that to put a big halt in AI, which is a good thing because we don't need like sentient AI right now. 'Cause that would be, especially what's going on in the world right now, that'd be terrible. But maybe I'd just also tell them, let's forget about AI for now. Like that isn't our most important thing. Like keep it in a computer for now. You know, no, don't put it in a human body. Don't put it in a robot body. You know, let's focus specifically on space. Also, I would probably tell them like, don't overthink aliens. Like we don't need to worry about them. Like if they wanted to hurt us, they would have. We don't need to specifically spend all our money on like, yeah, we gotta find aliens. Because maybe aliens don't exist. Because you know the universe has only been around so long. Like if the sun's gonna expand in a billion years and kill us, I mean, who's to say that in another galaxy, the sun did the same thing and ended an entire race, an entire species before they could get into interplanetary travel, which we're surprisingly close to, and we will definitely get there before the sun expands and kills us all. But yeah, there's my story. If I could fast travel, I'd go into the past, give them all our knowledge about space travel, physics, and I'd let them go wild. That'd be 10 years ahead that we would be. That's what I would do. What do you think?
I think that would honestly be awesome to see.
Yeah,
Because just that decade or so of knowledge would go on for centuries and expand more.
Yeah,
possibly.
Because just think. I'll give you like an example. NASA built its first satellite to go into space, or I'm not gonna say first satellite. Recently, NASA launched a satellite that could look at the ocean and a bunch of stuff about climate. Recently, like maybe a year ago, to view climate change and to how far back oceans or ocean water is moving, how low the ocean water is getting, and they can tell, about our future climate, about what the ocean does. If we had those extra 10 years of knowledge, everything we know now could have been pushed back to, instead of it happening today. Like yesterday, Firefly launched its first rocket. A year ago from yesterday, they could have done that. We could have had at least a year ahead if they knew what we know today, which is crazy to think about because so many things can happen in a year now. We learn so much in a year, and we're advancing as a species pretty fast now. But over the course of a year, we learn a couple new things about something we already knew that helps us get. Like if we had that year, had 2 years, we would be ahead, if not already on Mars. But yeah, that's my story. I hope my story didn't undermine yours.
Well, I doubt it can, but
Well, I'm excited for your story. My story was just, like if I could, that's what I would do. Might have been. I seriously couldn't think of anything else I'd do. I don't know, maybe save a turtle from drowning, the occasional thing.
See, I don't have a story that goes back to what? It goes back to when.
Oh.
I would go back to when the Union Pacific built the first 4884, or is what is called the Big Boy.
Yeah.
And I would tell them, in 1961, when you build these locomotives, don't just build 25.
Yeah.
Make your trains wider. These will become a monument to people in the future.
Yeah.
If you think about scrapping these, don't. Because in the future, they're going to rebuild one of these, and it's going to unite people.
Yeah.
In a time when they need to be united.
Right.
And showing them, like, how well this locomotive works. Like, this locomotive will help you against Sherman Hill. It's like the Challenger, but 2 times better.
Yeah.
And it's going to be awesome. You're going to love it. People are going to love this train. They're probably like, well, how'd you get here? Just don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Just build more. More. Not just 25. Build more.
Yeah, mine was based off of, like, I would go and drop a book in front of somebody and then just disappear. They don't even know I was there. Yeah, just like come in. Here's a book.
Hey.
Here's a video. Don't ask who I am because you're not. Just buy, and then I just poof.
What is this book of knowledge?
Yeah, and I don't. It's
Who
not.
are you again?
It's not 100% assured that they would understand any of it, but somebody would look at it and go, "Huh, I want to test if this is true. This seems pretty interesting." They test it, they'd be right, and bam. But you go on with your story.
But the first thing I'd tell them, like, listen, people are gonna be loving this. Then after that, I would tell them about the invention of the diesel. I said, even though you have these little diesels, that locomotive is stronger than multiple of these diesels.
Yeah.
It took, like, at the time they only had like smaller locomotives like F7s, like GP38. That wasn't until like GP15, small stuff like that.
Yeah.
These small locomotives, it took 4 or 5 or 10, somewhere between 4 and 10 to pull the same amount of train that one big boy can pull.
Yeah.
Up Sherman Hill.
So this big boy that you're talking about, would this benefit our economy as well?
Oh, definitely.
Not that I know anything about the economy.
This locomotive can pull goods, people. It can pull anything you want it to.
Yeah.
And it can pull them far because it has this massive coal tender, and it can pull them in some of the most scenic places where it's not like it can't go on sharp curves, unfortunately. Yeah. But in areas where it's wide and open, it can pull ahead, no stopping.
Yeah.
And it can move it from California to the Northeast if it wanted to, if it was possible to.
Yeah, I can really see that benefiting us a lot, especially the United States, because I know.
Oh, definitely.
I don't know,
and
I could say confidently that I don't know anything about trains, but I do know the United States relies heavily upon trains for a lot of their transportation as far as goods go.
Yeah, if you took away the railroads, the economy would probably fall.
Oh, no, take out that probably. It would fall because boats, like I want to say that's less than, I could be wrong, but I want to say that's less than 35% of our good trades we do on trains. And a little bit of it goes on boats as far as we need to get somewhere else. But like as far as throughout the United States and Canada,
our internal economy.
Yeah. We circulate ourselves with trains. If we didn't have trains, we
wouldn't get very far.
Yeah.
And like people are like, oh, but the car came first. No, it was after the train. Where do you think the term locomotion came from? It came from the locomotive.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much how the car was like, oh, how would I make this smaller for people? And I think the cars were actually, I might be wrong about this, but I think they were made for like government and stuff like that first. Then they said, okay, well, let's make it for people too.
It's crazy.
But I might be wrong.
A lot of things, you're probably right, because like space travel, that's the same thing. Like you go back 20, 30 years ago. Well, SpaceX was founded in 2008, 2007. You go back to 2000, NASA was like the only, or if not the biggest, if not the only space company, because it's run by the government. Everybody's like, dude, space travel is strictly government owned. We don't want to mess with that. And then SpaceX was like, let's try something new. Let's try something new. And then so they build these tiny companies of space companies. SpaceX was the first one to come up, and then all these other tiny little aerodynamics companies are sprouting, and they're doing a lot of big things. I think once people overlook the fact that government businesses are not the most important, like they're important, but like NASA is a bit more behind than SpaceX. So once people start doing their own things, is when I think things get better.
But there is one small drawback. I mean, if they kept them later, probably diesel trains probably wouldn't have been, widely used. If they had made more big boys, diesel trains probably wouldn't have been as widely used.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is just a theory. I'm not 100% sure. Do not quote me on this. But it could possibly, I mean, the big boy, and there were other railroads at this time trying to make the largest steam locomotive. And the big boy, and I think one of the locomotives were the only two successful ones in the United States that were actually articulated.
Yeah.
And this locomotive could not have come at a better time. It was built in, I want to say, 1941. The first one was built in 1941.
Yeah.
And it was at the beginning of World War II, when America became into World War II. They were moving military cargo, people, and anything you could think of for the
Yeah.
military cause, from from the middle of the United States to the coast and back,
Yeah.
and they called trains miles long. I mean, think of all the semi trucks on the highways. Now imagine all those put on those trains. You could probably almost fit all of them onto all 25, 24 of the big boys trains, and it would have been able to pull them like nothing.
Yeah. So it would help with a lot of heavier lifting stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's one another thing about like people like I don't understand why real fans like trains so much. It's because they are also it's fun. It shows you that you can have patience. Two, you are getting to see a part of the American economy
Yeah.
growing. And
Well,
you get to see it.
it's called
as
rail
it's
fanning,
being
right?
made.
You know, rail
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah.
It's like an OnlyFans, but for trains.
Sure.
Anyway, so yeah, so like yeah, I see what you're talking about. Trains.
Yeah. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I could see that being a huge benefit towards a lot of things if you did that.
Oh, and I don't know if this is for sure, but in 2 weeks, when that episode comes out, I might have to film later, because in 2 weeks I'm going to the train convention in Temple, Texas, and I can't wait.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
So yeah,
Yeah.
but I'll tell you guys about it when I get back.
Yeah, well, so he just hinted at it in this one, but there's a link. There will always be a link in the channel and in the description if you want to see that. I assume you're gonna record it.
Oh, of course.
Okay, yeah, go to his channel. You know, I'm like, you saw my video telling you to subscribe to Procast. If you don't go to his channel, nothing bad will happen. Just please do it. You know.
But that's not what you told me.
Look, it's okay. You know, yeah. Man, is it hot in here? I'm sweating.
You cannot hide from the truth.
But yeah, no, I totally get it. I totally get it. You trades. I know how.
Yeah, and I'm
like,
gonna let you guys know this now. Oh, sorry, Jake, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
If you are subscribed to my channel, and I suddenly, without letting you guys know by saying a video, I'm gonna be gone for 2 months. If my channel is silent for more than a month without any notice, I'm probably working on a massive project that I've told you about it, Trey.
Yeah.
And yeah, so hopefully when that happens, it all goes well. I don't have to record it 5 times over.
Yeah.
So
So
can't
okay.
wait to put it to work.
If you're gonna say that, so if you didn't know, obviously this is a podcast where DrakBStew. Newsflash: I'm DrakBStew, not just some other guy with the name Drake.
No.
Oh shoot, I forgot to tell him. No, I didn't say anything. Anyways, no. But yeah, so the reason I haven't been uploading is a multitude of things. School did just start. That's really not an excuse. I still have 4 hours to get videos. I've been thinking about this for a while, and I've been planning this out. I've only recently told him about it, but I have been thinking about how I would want to get this done because I wanted to do a podcast. I feel like it'd be a break from the games and just recording games, and it'd be nice to just sit and talk. And sometimes that's important. Is just sitting and talking. You know, letting what you want out. You know, because when you learn something new, you don't just want to keep it boxed up in your head. You want to say it. You know. Or if you want to talk about something like space travel, this is a place where also any of our viewers could talk about things. I strongly recommend in the comments putting what you would do. You don't have to explain in detail, but putting what you would do in these scenarios and what we talk about in these podcasts, because it's a place where anybody could let what they want out. And that's why I wanted to do it. And I'm glad that it's actually finally come to fruition. But that's why I've been gone for a couple months on my channel, is this. But don't be surprised if suddenly, wink wink, not this guy, me and Procast, we're not talking about him, but DrakBStew may or may not be thinking about a new series. Might be halting some other ones due to some issues, but he may or may not be thinking of playing a game that has to do with the ocean and aliens. That's all I'm gonna say. But it might be a new series on the channel to lead to another game. There's 2 games, and it is a pretty long series, so be excited for that. That's coming up. It's gonna be a new thing. Pretty excited. You excited?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, and I'll leave the you can decide what it wants to be. All the viewers can decide what it's gonna be. You could be like, think of any game, just so you could be surprised, because it's not gonna be what you think, or it's gonna be what you think. If you know me, it might be what you think.
I think I know what it is, but I'm not sure.
You probably do, but don't say it.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah, just
That would ruin the surprise.
I will say the earliest it'll start is tomorrow, or the end of today. Well, if I start at the end of today, it'll come out tomorrow. But the earliest it'll start is tomorrow. The latest it'll start is Monday. So essentially, be prepared, but don't expect. But be prepared and don't expect. Be prepared, but don't expect. Said that 3 times. But be prepared, don't expect.
Nope.
4th times. Anyways.
I can't just hit one.
Be prepared, don't expect.
Be prepared, don't expect. Be prepared, don't expect. Be prepared.
There you go. That was at least 2 times. But yeah, so it's either Sunday or Monday. Expect or be prepared, but don't expect. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
That could be a quote.
So now that we're done with our promotion.
Oh yeah. Well, I said it wasn't me. It's DrakBStew we're talking about. So technically, it's not a promotion.
We're promoting people's channels. I don't know who this specific limited guy is.
I don't either, but he's pretty neat. I watch his videos sometimes.
And these ghosts are really starting to take over. It's getting annoying.
Yeah, I mean they're crazy, ghosts.
What did you call me? Nothing. Alright.
Dude, they're in your house?
Yes, dude. He won't leave me alone.
Jeez, dude, YouTube is gonna
shouldn't have given him the Wi-Fi password.
Yeah, YouTube's gonna be like, what do these guys know? What are these guys up to?
What do they know?
Yeah.
So anyway, the next thing I would tell them, I would show them all the mergers that they would go into. They're like, "Wow, we own all this." I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Then there's this. Like, what is that? That's called a failure.
Oh my.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that would. Yeah. I would definitely if I were to go into the past for any kind of person or company, I would show them their mistakes so that.
Yeah.
Learn from this.
This wasn't a good idea.
Even if you do it again, just learn from it. At least know why you would do it, why you did it, and what you could do better. Now, I wouldn't do anything exponential. Like, I wouldn't give them the exact dates. I'd just tell them this is going to happen. I wouldn't tell them the exact day, dates, month, season, whatever. I would say, this is going to happen. Just stop it, or at least figure out why. Figure out why it happened, and maybe prevent it from doing the do.
Undoing the doing.
Undo the bad that NASA has done. Also, if we have 5 years, hoping they do some kind of like space vacuum thing, we need to clean out our atmosphere. You don't know, you don't understand how bad our atmosphere right now is, filled with like thousands upon thousands of satellites and rocket ship debris. Like, it's crazy. I had this conversation with my dad. Like, if we don't get out of this planet, before, I don't want to give a specific date, but 100 years. Let's say 100 years. If we're not already on Mars, we're gonna be trapped on the planet with a debris atmosphere. It is that bad. It's that bad.
Are you from the future, Trey? Is there something you're hiding?
Anyways, podcast. Oh, I'm just kidding. He has the outro today. He has the outro today, actually. That's
I do.
Did you finish your story?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. All I would do is tell them their massive achievements and mistakes.
Yeah, and that's the overall lesson from this. If you go to the future or the past, or if you ever think about anything, just think about your successes and your failures, because the only thing you get from that is a lesson and more knowledge.
Is that all?
I think that's might be the end of the podcast. I think it was a pretty productive podcast, not gonna lie.
So, are we ready?
Are you ready? Can you wait? I have one quick thing. Viewers, we had one do it. Only one out of the some odd, I want to say at least 6. Only one person gave us a recommendation for a topic. You can do better. You can do better. Come on. Let us know
I
in
think
the
it's because they
comments.
called our viewers losers in the last episode.
You did
See you
that.
later, losers.
Anyway,
Uh-uh.
that was me.
No.
I know, that was me, and I'm sorry. I did not mean to call my precious, lovely viewers losers. Anyways, please comment a topic, because we'll pick. We will. And if you're lucky, which is not that hard to get lucky when it's so little people, then we'll pick your topic, and we'll talk about your topic. And then we'll even mention you, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm not going to promise that, because we didn't mention the other guy, whoever he was. Anyways,
You
But
know
yeah,
who he is.
that's the end of the podcast. So, I will leave the outro to the host. Are you ready?
Alrighty, everyone. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. And if this is your first time watching, if that red subscribe button is still red by this point, why not subscribe? It's free.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys have enjoyed again. So, Polecast out.